Hello, hello, hello. Good afternoon, Asheville. This is What's Up Asheville at WRES Radio, 100.7 FM. This is a radio show discussing projects and initiatives from the City of Asheville. Just like every other week, this is Ricardo Basurto, Communication and Public Engagement Specialist at the City of Asheville. Today we are accompanied by Eric Mendez and Ruth Dahl, both who were working here, kind of like working at the City of Asheville at the Community and Economic Development Department. So welcome you both here to this radio show and to this space. And Ruth, Eric, can you introduce yourselves, please?
Yeah, thank you. I'm Ruth Dahl. I'm a Master of Public Affairs student at Western Carolina University. And over this past semester, I've been doing a capstone project with the City of Asheville, and I'm excited to talk about it.
Awesome. How about you, Eric?
Yeah, it's great to be here. So my name's Eric Mendez, and I'm also a student with Western's MPA program. And I was also a undergraduate student with Western, so I wanted to kind of stay within the area. And I've always just really enjoyed public service, and I really wanted to move forward, and just getting a master's degree in public administration just felt like the right fit for me. So I'm excited to talk about the project I was able to work on with the city.
That's excellent. You both were working at the Community and Economic Development Department, right?
That's correct.
Yes.
That's excellent. So, I mean, what we want to hear you is like absolutely about your experience and how this relates with your study. I mean, the fact that you're continuing studying, but at the same time getting like meaningful like professional experience, that's absolutely cool. So please, if you can tell me a little bit, like, what do you notice like the community, the department does for the City of Asheville? How do you say like the roles are from working with the people here?
I think for me it was really cool to work with the city and kind of take the classroom experience that I got and be able to apply it in the real world. And also I really got a chance to reach out into the community. Like for my project, we talked to a few local business owners and like other leaders within the community. So it was really an opportunity for me to take part in the community where I'm going to school and actually branch out and use the skills that I had learned.
Cool. Putting your knowledge at the service of the people, right? That's absolutely. How about you, Eric? How do you notice it?
Well, I was able to notice that, part of the reason I wanted to even go into a master's degree program with public administration is to help out the community, and being able to take into account through this project just the incorporation of the suggestions and the concerns from businesses and the overall general community as to how we can better improve the economic structure of the city itself, and how we could be able to help out small businesses and newer businesses that are just emerging, what best approaches we could take to them, and how we could better strengthen that partnerships from the city and the businesses themselves.
That's awesome. Doing a follow-up with you, so how can you describe like some of your duties and responsibilities of like the project? Like you were both in separate projects, right? Or,
yes.
I think.
Yes.
Can you explain a little bit like about like those projects that you were?
Right. So with my project, I was working on the construction of an economic development incentive verification packet. And I know it's a mouthful, but what we were looking at is with the Economic Development Department and their incentive programs, being able to find the best approach as to what it is that we would be asking for businesses to send over to the city, and what best methods and approaches we can take to verify that the agreed upon quotas are being met and that there is steady job growth happening. So part of my responsibility was being able to do the investigation through the academic literature to figure out what best approaches we need to take, and what specifically we should be focusing on and looking at, and what are some possible major concerns that we just haven't considered yet that we should also focus on.
Absolutely. And how was for you, Ruth?
Yeah, so mine was also kind of business focused. It
Okay.
was to create a business resource guide. So basically just pulling all the resources that are available in Asheville, like funding resources, education, like AB Tech has resources. There's basically a bunch of opportunities for business owners in Asheville that they a lot of them don't really know about. So
Yeah.
we wanted to pull it all together into one web tool that businesses can easily go online and put in what type of business they have, and it'll easily come up with a list of resources that they can use.
Great.
And basically my responsibilities were to find all the resources, create a spreadsheet, and kind of build it to where it can be implemented as a web tool on the city's website.
That's great. Yeah, some issue that we have noticed at the city is that we have the website and we try to make it accessible and make more people get interested into that and make more easier to find information. But we sometimes struggle with it, and it's like, man, we have like really cool problems. We have the minority and business inclusion certification that we cannot receive utilizing, so that's an issue. And well, that sounds fantastic. It sounds like well, does the project you were working align with like what you studied, what you were like developing in your career?
Yeah, definitely. I hope to work in local government. I'm actually moving away from the Asheville area, sadly.
Oh.
But this was really a great way for me to like get hands-on and kind of understand the inner workings of local government and talk to local business owners. And there were definitely a lot of lessons that I think can be taken away to any locality that I might work in, like just providing a great level of service to local businesses and citizens.
I mean, certainly local governments exist like in wherever there's the small governments around, and people necessities and ideas are going to be fairly similar to some extent. So those skills are going to be exchangeable. And how about you, Eric? I'm curious, like how you have mentioned a lot that you would like to serve to the community. Does that have like align with that? And following up a little bit on that, how do you notice like the city of Asheville or the projects you were working is trying to benefit the people of the city, you know?
Right. So I felt that throughout my project that the city of Asheville is taking into account just a lot of different factors. We want to be able to make sure that we are taking the best approach when it comes to these programs themselves. So for the economic development incentive program itself, it does run a lot of risk, but that's what we did the investigation for, to figure out what we can better do to make sure that this isn't viewed as a quote-unquote gamble, but more or less as a strategic maneuver from the city to be able to effectively create positive change within these communities. So I felt it perfectly aligned, and my MPA degree and background really did help me be able to do the best that I could with this project, and being able to help out the communities that I was able to connect with and communicate with.
That's fantastic. I would like to jump on one of the questions that I always like to ask, and usually I have here in the show like colleagues with 20 plus years of experience in the city, which of course they know the city in a completely different way that we perceive it like but everyone agrees that for the city of Asheville, it's really important to engage with the community. How you notice like the citizens can participate within the department you work, or in the project you work, or in general?
Yeah, I think I've definitely noticed that the city of Asheville is very focused on working with citizens and the community. And I think, throughout my project, I really wanted to make sure that we had that kind of representation of the community in the project. And so part of my project was to create a questionnaire for local businesses about like what they want to see in the project. So what kind of problems have they faced as they like try to find resources? Do they even know that there's resources available to them? And so that was partially my MPA learning that was pushing me to do that. But also the city was really like working with Rachel. She was like, yeah, we really need to get people involved and get other people from the city involved, but also community members involved in the project, so that their voices are heard in this final product that we create.
Absolutely. What do you think, Eric?
Yeah, I would like to echo on what Ruth was saying about representation. I think that was a big portion of the project and the key takeaways that I was able to take from this. And it's something that I feel I could even incorporate within my own community. I'm from Franklin. So with Franklin, I definitely could see a lot of the practices and methods that I was using with the City of Asheville, taking it into smaller scope for Franklin and just more representation there. I've always argued that we need more diversity when it comes to business representation.
Certainly.
We need more diversity as well when it comes to local government. We need more Latino representatives. And that's
Totalmente de acuerdo. Es muy necesario.
It's muy necesario.
I would like to follow you up on that because just making the commercial here, we always are inviting to the people of Asheville, you should register for AVL alerts. This is the system that we have activated, so you can register and you can have notification in case there's an emergency or something that's going to happen in your area. Well, the City of Asheville can reach out to you, and I think many cities have these alerts, although I think this works fantastic. But I would like to notice that it's also in Asheville we have the neighborhood associations and all these spaces, and as you were mentioning, this whole effort to let the people reach out to the city and to let us know their thoughts and feelings and ideas. And I know I'm kind of biased in that regard, but yeah, absolutely, we were trying to reach out for that, and I'm glad to hear so far in your experience you're noticing that. But yeah, ending up the commercial, register to AVA alerts, because that way we can inform you if anything happens, and you can stay in touch with more details about the projects that are happening in the city. Moving on a little bit for what you did, I'm curious of how was this step prior to that one? How did you get this opportunity? How do you get involved here to work in this Capstone project?
Well, with the MPA program, our faculty is really good about connecting us with people in the community. And so I had met my sponsor, Rachel, who works with the city, both of our sponsors, through a mutual connection through the school.
Okay.
And it's just those connections that are really helpful. So when I knew that I had this project coming up, I just reached out to her, and she was really welcoming and gave me a bunch of different options that I could work on, and really helped tailor the project to what I wanted to do and what would best develop my career. So it was really nice to be welcomed like that, and to be have my my project facilitated so nicely.
Okay, and yours was the same process through the school?
Similar. So one of the things with the MPA program is that they really try to help you build those connections, those networking skills with other people. So when the opportunity came that I had to start focusing on a capstone project itself, my professor that I had, Ashley Fay, who also worked with the City of Asheville, was great in being able to help me connect with the City of Asheville's budgeting department. But when I mentioned that I had an interest in economic development, that's when they kind of tailored me over to do you know Rachel Taylor, and should be a great fit for you. And it was, and I was just very grateful for the opportunity, and I've learned so much.
That's awesome. How long lasted your experience, your time here working with us?
It was about 15 weeks, so just this one semester.
Oh, that's really good. I mean, I know we have projects who are a summer labs, but in this case, you were almost a whole semester, right?
Yeah, our capstone basically requirement is that it's done with one semester. So yeah, that was basically it. It felt very fast paced, but it was really cool to be able to start and finish a project within that amount of time.
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes that we have noticed, especially I remember when I was being a student and I had to get involved in several projects, is you get to projects who are existing, so you get to see that once it's already going, and sometimes you leave before it's completed. So it's I was part of something big, but you don't get to see the whole development, which I think was really cool. You both get to see from beginning to an end of that phase. That's fantastic.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm kind of curious, especially because sometimes we hear this working for the city when you're still an employee, or working for government when you're still an employee, and it's like it's been this freely labor, because internship they're just like taking copies and bringing coffees and stuff like that. I kind of like getting the sense that was not experienced at all here.
No, for me,
absolutely not.
Yeah,
that's great to hear.
No, I definitely wouldn't say that. I think like this experience was really valuable for me, and I mean, like the point of it wasn't to get paid, and it was just to like kind of build that experience. And I mean, I felt really, really grateful that the city was even willing to like, I mean, that Rachel was able to like take the time out of her busy schedule to work with both of us. I know that was extra work on her plate to facilitate these projects, and to like further our professional development and our goals and our learning. So yeah, you can add to that if you want to.
Yeah, well, first of all, God bless Rachel, because she balancing both of us and a full-time schedule.
Yeah, she's really cool.
I know. But the great thing about the MPA program is that you're able to start building those connections to be able to find those internship opportunities. And with my internship, I interned with the City of Brevard, and it was nothing like just coffee runs or miscellaneous grunt work and paperwork. It was a genuine project that I was able to become a part of and helping that community. So the end result, while I was being paid, the better end result for that was being able to see the fruit of your labor just start to slowly be created. I helped create a community garden for the city, and to be able to slowly watch that be built and created and for people to use it, that was the most rewarding experience for me.
Oh, that's so great to hear. So I was talking with some of my colleagues in the HR department about like our internships, and well, it's a fact that during the COVID and during 2020, 2021, we saw a significant decline in the number of internships who were open, because we were not like here and working. We were working remotely, because many people were not applying. But now we are starting to open in more spaces again in different departments. So if you're considering applying for an internship, as a way to get some experience, practice, and getting to see, applications are open, and they're going to continue to be opening more. So as a city employee, I will encourage you to apply if you're listening. And here are so two colleagues that I can think like they also will say it has been a good experience.
Yeah,
Definitely, yeah.
Definitely apply.
That's really great to hear. I'm kind of curious. What would you say were kind of the requirements? Like, if someone wants to do a capstone project at the City of Asheville, what this person, besides like the bureaucratic of like getting a sponsorship, which we'll go to that in a minute. Like, what this person should have, or what do you think we were looking for in someone?
I think it really depends on what department of the city you're working with. Okay. I know Matthew worked with the budgeting department, right?
The Office of Data. Okay,
yeah. But like different, I'm sure that like, I mean ours, okay.
Yeah, don't worry.
Our capstone project was like through our school program, so it was kind of like, okay, you're almost about to get your degree, now you have to find a capstone. But I mean, anyone, like, I'm sure anyone who's in school in any form, like, their school would be willing to say, like, if you want to do a project with the city for credit, or, I mean, our program, I'm sure, like, is going to have more and more students wanting to do capstones. So, I mean, I guess, I don't know. Do you want to take it away?
I'll take it. I think one factor to incorporate is if you are wanting to focus on an internship or a capstone project, for example, with the City of Asheville, is to really do it in a field that you have a genuine interest in. You don't want to just make this be something that you feel is a form of a labor. You want this to be something that you genuinely are passionate about and wanting to pursue further.
Great.
Something that you really like. So we both enjoy economic development, and we just felt it was a right fit for us to pursue a project in that field.
That's awesome. And I was curious because, I mean, I know once again comes another commercial from the thing that we're doing at the city, but we have the Youth Leadership Academy in the city when we take like high school students and we give them the opportunity to do some practice and and to do do training and work in several places here in the city of Asheville doing summer jobs, and they can work in the city manager's office, economic development, equity and inclusion, IT services, parks and rec. So we have a lot of opportunities open for high school students, and at the same time, well, this is not a commercial, but this is kind of like an announcement. I know UNC Chapel Hill will participate with the civic collaboration program this summer, and we're going to have 5 first-year students who are going to be assigned here at the city of Asheville to do their civic collaboration. So I think I totally agree. You were at the end of your master's degree, and we're having high schoolers and first year undergrad students coming here to different projects. So, I mean, you were right. If you're in a school, go to your school and check it out how you can relate. Most of the times, it's probably we have an agreement to some relates, so you can participate here. That's fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll just add one thing to that. I think networking is a really big part of being a young professional, and that was a really valuable thing that I got out of this experience as well. And so definitely for the youth program, I would definitely encourage any high school students to start networking as early as you possibly can.
Absolutely, and I think that's a great program too to start including the youth, because they are the future generation for all city, county managers, all local government officials. And back in my high school, we didn't have any of that. We didn't have any kind of government or any kind of clubs organized to do anything like that. So I think it's great to include the youth and being able to expose to them this is how your government works. This is who's responsible for your water, your sewer, your trash, and without that, the city will fall apart.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think something that's thinking about it, clubs that you were saying, we tend to think oh yeah, government is exclusive, budgeting and economic and stuff like that, and we certainly have to deal with all of that. But at the same time, we have many projects cultural, parks and recreations and stuff like that who require interaction. Just like you, my high school, it was in Mexico, didn't have a lot of connection with local governments, but I was in a dance club, and we used to do performance in the public every once in a while, and it was a cool way to get involved, because we were going to different municipalities and performing there. So in a sense, you ended up getting to knowing people and doing a really informal networking, but you get to see well, there's this passion that I have. In my case was dancing in high school, and we get to know people, got to see around. I see that many people, many organizations, they have to do a lot of activities, organize festivals and stuff like that. So if you follow your passion, you can certainly find something that will suit you in that regard, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's the good old days. I haven't thought about that in a while.
We're glad we were able to bring that up.
It was really fun. But yeah, so if you're in high school and your high school doesn't have any agreement necessarily with the city of Asheville, you can still try to outreach us to the community, the communication and public engagement department. We will be more than happy to try to assist you and find ways that we can have you here doing an experience. Summer is coming, not only winter, summer is coming too, and we will get a chance to do some programs and hopefully find activities to engage with the community.
Absolutely. And I feel another way to also actively engage with the community is the idea of citizens academies. I've been a huge fan of them since I recently discovered them, and that's hopefully one project I could maybe start working on next, of installing a citizen academy with Franklin itself or Macon County.
I think that the last few weeks we have here a Kelsey Club from the fire department, and she was really great because she was telling us about precisely the Citizens Academy and these initiatives. And if you want to be a firefighter, well, that certainly will be a good place to start. But at the same time, it will give you the tools so how to react in several situations. So what to do in case of an emergency? Well, I have watched Die Hard many times, but I don't think that's training enough. So we certainly want to be prepared for how to respond and how to help others.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think the whole purpose of serving and being in the public is to help. So that's what we're looking for. And well, my dear friend Randy here is telling me that we are kind of running short on time, so I don't know what will be if you have to send like a message saying like someone who is studying his high school undergrad and is like, I'm curious or I'm unsure, what can you recommend them?
I mean, I would just say don't hesitate to reach out. I mean, there's like, even if you have a connection with anyone, or even if you don't have a connection with anyone, just look up somebody's email address and reach out. In my experience, everyone who I've talked to at the city and in other capacities have just been so willing to help you and try and provide opportunities for you. And I have the tendency to be like, oh, well, they probably don't want to hear from me. They're probably too busy. But they're really not. Like, they're not. And they want to help facilitate young people in their professional development. So if you have the opportunity to reach out, just do it. Like, it's going to go well. Like, they're not going to say no.
Right.
Well, for me, back in high school, I was stubborn and I hated politics. I just hated to discuss anything like that. So my advice would be to be open-minded. Be open-minded and allow yourself the opportunity to expose yourself to something new, something that you may at first think that you're not going to have a genuine interest in, and then you end up falling into an MPA degree like me. So, and further to that, just La Comunidad Latina, we need more representation, we need more diversity. So please include yourself, reach out, and don't be afraid to ask any questions or follow-ups.
Totalmente de acuerdo. Creo que para la comunidad latina que nos escucha por ahí es importante que nos apropiemos de estos espacios, que participemos y que pues se note que estamos aquí y que somos la minoría más grande de esta región, y pues tendríamos que estar tomando esos espacios. Sin duda alguna, the Latino community, we are one of the biggest minorities who are in the area, so we certainly should be participating and taking a more active role in how we are being perceived. The same way like the African American communities and LGBT minorities, and every minority importance and representation matters, we should realize like we belong to government just like anyone else.
Absolutely. Tenemos un voz and we have to use it.
Absolutely right, man. We have a voice, we have to use it. Okay, but well, that's the time we have for today on What's Up Asheville. Thank you so much everyone for listening, for please be here. Both you, Ruth, Erick, has been a pleasure. Certainly, thank you for your service here at the city and for your time here on the show today. And please stay tuned and continue listening here at WRES 100.7 FM. We will continue talking about the projects and initiatives that we have at the City of Asheville. Take care of one another, Asheville, and have a good day.